Am I the a-hole for not sharing my inheritance with the rest of my family? My family situation is messy. I, 25F, was engaged for years ago to my high school sweetheart. My fiancé cheated on me with my sister, 28F. We never had a good relationship, even as kids. So after I found out, I went scorched earth for both of them. She was so in love with my fiancé, but he dumped her within 2 weeks and was back trying to get me to forgive him. I didn't. My parents were initially on my side, but my sister had a nervous breakdown after she was dumped and was hospitalized. So they changed their tune too.
It's over now and you can't be mad forever.
So I dumped them too and went to grad school on the other side of the country. My grandfather was livid with the whole thing, disowned my sister, and chewed out my parents. Sometimes it felt like he was the only one who was on my side and understood. I was able to get my job to let me work remotely and moved back to take care of him when he got sick last fall, and I was devastated when he passed away a couple of months ago. I had been in limited contact with my parents since I came back, mostly because I didn't want to be an obstacle to my dad seeing my grandfather, but with the understanding that any discussion of my sister or what happened would end that. It turns out that my grandfather left me virtually everything. He left enough for my father to cover a debt and some token stuff for a couple of other relatives. But he wrote letters for everyone and did a videotape with his attorney explaining what his intentions were. I knew that he had done well for himself, but he lived a pretty simple lifestyle, so I didn't realize how much money and assets he really had. I would give it all up to have my papa back, but even after taxes, it is set for life money. My parents are pretty mad about it. One of the reasons stated for cutting them out was how disappointed my grandfather was with how they had treated me growing up versus my sister and over the fiancé debacle. There were other reasons, but that's what they're fixated on. The will is pretty airtight apparently, so my parents want me to do the right thing and share it equally between me, them, and my sister. Their argument is that I don't need it. I make more than both of them combined, and this would allow them to retire. My sister is not doing great and can't hold a job, so this would ensure she has something for when my parents pass. I don't want to. My grandfather's wishes were crystal clear, and also I kind of don't feel like doing more than the minimum for any of them. They've been telling me that I'm being vindictive because of a mistake years ago. I can't deny there might be a little vindictiveness there. I don't want them to suffer necessarily, but I also don't feel like they deserve my help. Am I the a-hole?
Here are the top comments, plus OP's reply.
Not the a-hole. I'm so sorry your papa has gone. He sounds very loving and interesting by the way you speak about him here. That said, set your family connections on fire and walk away. That's what he would have wanted, and he granted you the means to do so. Walk tall. You've earned this.
This is kind of how I feel about it. I feel like he left her that much so she'd hopefully never have a reason to reach back out to them, and could just live her life, not the a-hole.
You know what? Papa's decision clearly isn't just a result of the sister's affair and the resulting fallout. For him to have gone to these lengths, he clearly knew what kind of person his son is. He made this choice for a reason. And hell, he still even paid off the father's debt, except that money guilt-free.
Indeed. And you parents are, again, showing how awful they are by trying to emotionally manipulate you into going against those clear wishes. Your parents were free to patch up these relationships while your grandfather was alive. They didn't, and these are the consequences, not the a-hole.
The cherry on top others aren't mentioning is that you were taking care of him when he died. Your parents, even knowing that he had money they'd stand to inherit, couldn't be bothered. Of course, you're justified in cutting contact. I wouldn't say a single word to them without going through an attorney, not the a-hole.
That never has set well with me. Their excuse was that they worked all the time and he could afford home health services. Papa didn't even need much, just someone to keep the house up, get him to appointments, and make sure he ate and was okay on bad days during his treatment. Even though I'm hurt that he's gone, I'm just really grateful I got to spend his last year with him, and I wasn't expecting to inherit more than his dog and a few keepsakes.